Mock examination. Form 6, English Language, Paper 3.
Part A. Situation. Michael Lee, Nicola Wan and Helen Tung are students. They are taking part in a self-esteem building workshop. You are going to hear 4 recordings of Michael, Nicola and Helen speaking to different people. In Part A, you will have a total of 4 tasks to do. Follow the instructions in the question-answer book and in the recording to complete the tasks. You will find all the information you need in the question-answer book and the recording. You now have 2 minutes to familiarise yourself with tasks 1 to 4. Task 1. You are going to listen to a briefing session on the first day of the workshop. Listen to the briefing session and write the missing information in the spaces provided in the note sheet. The first has been provided as an example. You now have 30 seconds to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 1 minute to tidy up your answers.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the workshop. I'm sure some of you know each other already, but for everyone here, by the end of the week, I hope you'll all be best friends. First things first, though, what's this workshop about? Well, it's about self-esteem building. You know, building yourself up so that you believe in your abilities and you deserve to be liked and respected. That's why we've given the workshop the title, Believe in Yourself. We hope you come away truly believing in yourselves. And, oh, you're probably wondering who I am, so I'd better introduce myself. My name's Andrew Chan, and I'm the leader of the workshop. Now, I have to get one thing straight at this point. I don't want to hear any of you calling me Mr. Chan. That's my dad. I'm Andrew, okay? Helping me out this week will be my assistant, Maria Ko. That's K-O. I'm very lucky to have an assistant like Maria. Actually, any workshop leader would be delighted to have her in their team.
Thanks, Mr. Chan. I mean Andrew. Hello, everyone.
Now, I'm sure you all read the details of the Believe in Yourself workshop before you signed up, but I thought I'd briefly go through some of them again and also give you some new details. We like to adapt our workshops to suit the group. One thing we obviously won't change from what we've advertised is the duration of the workshop. Last year, it lasted for an entire week and included the weekend. But attendees found that too long, so we've shortened the workshop by 2 days to 5 days this time.
Yes, but we will still cover the same ground in those 5 days by making each activity a little lighter. You'll hear more about those later. Anyway, sorry, Andrew, you were going through the details of the workshop.
Yes, I was. So let's run through a bit more about how things work here at Believe in Yourself. Firstly, as you know, seeing as you all turned up on time today, we'll begin every day at 9 a.m. We'll run a bunch of different activities, as Maria has already mentioned, some in the morning. Then we'll break for lunch and have more activities in the afternoon. We'll finish at 5 p.m. every day.
Yep, 9 to 5 every day. It sounds like a long day, but the time goes pretty quickly, let me tell you.
Now, as I mentioned, this is a workshop that's aimed at making people feel better about themselves. So we target some specific groups of people. Maria?
Yes, right. Well, firstly, there are the people who are victims of bullying. I'm sure there are a fair few of you here. I'm not going to ask the bullying victims for a show of hands or anything like that, though. Joining those people are the people who just feel bad about themselves, which is pretty common for teenagers. Most people, at some time or another, feel bad about themselves, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. And finally, we run the workshop to help people who doubt their own abilities. They could be academic or sporting abilities, or some other types.
Thanks, Maria. I saw quite a few people nodding as you went through that list, so I think we've got a good mix here. And the good news is that we know exactly how to help you. I'm not sure what you expect to get out of this workshop, but I can tell you our expected results. Firstly, we've placed a high level of importance on making sure you walk out of here on Friday night filled with self-confidence. That's our primary aim. We also aim to teach you a new set of skills that will help you to cope with difficulties that you may encounter. You'll be able to cope with problems at school, at home, or just in your life in general.
Sound good? I think so. The final thing that we want to achieve by the end of the week is to make you want to help others the way we've helped you. If you can use the skills that you'll learn over the next few days to help others, you'll make us very happy.
Well, that's it for our introduction. Does anyone have any questions?
Doesn't look like it, Andrew.
Doesn't, does it? That's all right. I'm sure they'll be bursting with confidence soon enough.
I hope so. Shall we get everyone into teams of 3 and then start organising activities?
Excellent suggestion.
Nicola and Helen, let's form a team.
Good idea, Michael. That is the end of task 1. You now have 1 minute to tidy up your answers. Task 2. Maria Coe is talking to Michael, Nicola and Helen about the activities they will take part in during the workshop. Listen to their discussion and fill in the missing information in the spaces provided in the table. You now have 30 seconds to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 1 minute to tidy up your answers.
All right, team. Let's talk about the activities for the week. We've got some great activities lined up, some of which are compulsory and some you get to choose. For example, this morning we have the compulsory orientation session, which will begin in about half an hour's time.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, Michael, the idea is to help you to get to know us, to familiarise yourself with our venue, and to get to know the other participants. We've got a great venue here. We'll give you a quick tour of the venue and show you what's on offer, and you can explore more on your own. We'll spend most of the time getting to know each other, though.
OK, I see.
And after lunch, we've got some more activities that everyone has to take part in. It's a set of fun exercises that help you to develop trust. To get the most out of your week, you'll need to have a lot of trust in your teammates, and the exercises will help develop that trust. You and your teammates will be working together to solve a range of interesting problems. And believe me, you'll have to learn to work well together if you want to succeed. Before you know it, you'll be trusting your teammates with your life. Just kidding.
I think we did some exercises like that at school once.
Probably. They are quite popular. Anyway, let's move on. Tomorrow morning, you get your first choice of activities. There are 2 options, and you need to decide, as a team, which activity you want to do. The first option is all about leadership. It's really important for young people, especially when they're lacking in confidence, to learn strong leadership skills. Those skills can build your self-confidence really quickly, and they are great at helping you overcome any shyness you might have. For example, if you're shy about meeting new people or about public speaking. That sounds quite important. I'd like to learn more about leadership.
Me too. Let's do that one.
Now, don't jump the gun. The second option is our confidence course. It's like a big outdoor obstacle course with rope ladders to climb, monkey bars to swing across, cargo nets to scramble under, and so on.
Sounds a bit scary. You said it was an outdoor course?
Yes, it's an outdoor course, so there are no crash pads or anything. Just loads of mud. It's great fun, trust me. These types of courses are great for building your confidence because they're a big physical challenge. You'll have to really push yourself to get through it. You'll feel like you've really challenged yourselves at the finish line. It won't be easy, but you'll be amazed with what you can achieve. Anyway, those are the 2 choices for the morning's activities. But you don't need to decide right now. You can talk about it and figure it out amongst yourselves. Now, tomorrow afternoon, you don't get a choice about what you'll be doing. Everyone's going to attend lessons with a martial arts instructor. Self-defense is very important, and you'll learn some moves from different martial arts, including karate. These will be very helpful if you're ever attacked and need to protect yourself.
Cool. I've always wanted to learn that sort of thing.
Then the next day, we'll be having our compulsory team challenge, so you'd all better be ready because you're not getting out of it. This is a series of games where all the teams compete against each other. It's not only team against team, but each team will be going against the clock too. There are great prizes for the overall winning team and also for the fastest team in each individual game.
Sounds good.
OK, so that's a few of the activities. It looks like Andrew wants to talk to you now, so let's stop there. We'll run through the rest of the activities later on. Thanks, guys.
That is the end of Task 2. You now have 1 minute to tidy up your answers. Task 3. As part of the orientation session, Michael, Nicola and Helen are talking about bullying. Listen to the discussion and complete the flowchart below. You now have 30 seconds to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 1 minute to tidy up your answers.
OK, everyone. The next thing we need to talk about is bullying. And I'm pretty confident that it's something at least some of you have experienced in some way or another. If you open your workbooks, you'll find a flowchart in there that I'd like you to fill in.
Is it this one with the word scenario at the top?
Yes, that's it. What we'll do is I'll outline a simple scenario and then we'll talk through different actions and their possible consequences. The scenario I'd like you to think about is that you're at school and another student has started to bully you, for whatever reason. Now, if you're being bullied, you need to ask yourself one simple question. And that question is, what do I do? I'd like to ask you all that question now. And let's talk through some possible options. Who can start? Nicola, imagine you're the student being bullied. What do you do?
Well, if another student starts to bully me, one thing I could do would be to stand up for myself.
Stand up for yourself. Good. Can someone think of a different action?
A different action would be to back down with the aim of avoiding trouble. You know, stay out of the bully's way and hope the trouble will go away.
Sure, you could choose to do that. That's an option. Now, let's talk about the consequences of each of those actions. Firstly, what would happen if you didn't back down? Helen?
The bully gets angry? I think that's what would happen. And because I made her angry. Is the bully a boy or a girl? I guess it doesn't matter. What was I saying? Oh yes, because I made her angry, she'd want to keep teasing me.
OK, I guess that could happen. So, what would you do if that was the case?
I don't know.
OK, well, what do you think would happen if things continue as Helen has described, but you continue to be strong? Do you think the bully would keep teasing you if you did that?
I don't think so. I think that because you're showing that you're not weak or afraid, the bully would begin to respect you. She still might not like you, but she would start to develop some respect for you.
That's good, Nicola. Yes, that's very likely. And when that happens, the problem goes away. Bullies don't pick on people that they have respect for. So if you show him or her that you're strong, you'll get the result that you're after. Now, on the other hand, let's talk about what would happen if you were to back down.
The bully leaves you alone?
I doubt it. Bullies like picking on people who don't stand up for themselves because they have more chance of getting away with it. Those people are seen as an easy target. It's much harder to pick on someone secure and confident. So if you don't stand up for yourself, you become an easy target. And then, rather than the bullying coming to an end, the opposite happens.
Yes, I suppose that makes sense.
Sadly, as well as carrying on, the bullying actually gets worse. At least, that's what commonly happens. The bullying gets worse because you appear weak and afraid. Before you know it, you've started to look and act like a victim. You'd be surprised at how quickly someone can begin to look like a victim. And when that happens, soon enough, it won't just be the original bully teasing you. You'll have to deal with other bullies too. Bullies are always on the lookout for possible victims, and they'll start to notice you if you look and act like one.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It'd then be even harder to stand up for yourself, and so you'd go back up to the top of the flowchart. That's not what I'd want to happen.
Exactly. However, this time it's not just one bully, but 2, 3, 4 bullies. The trouble you tried to avoid at the start, in fact, has intensified.
Yes, definitely not what I'd want to happen.
OK, so remember, if you're getting bullied, the best thing you can do to stop things intensifying is to show strength and confidence. Don't let the bullies turn you into a victim, because if you do, things are only going to get worse.
That is the end of Task 3. You now have 1 minute to tidy up your answers. Task 4. On the last day of the workshop, Andrew is talking with Michael, Nicola and Helen about their feedback. Listen to their discussion and fill in the missing information on the feedback sheet and complete the comments Andrew makes about their team's performance. You now have 1 minute to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 2 minutes to tidy up your answers.
Well, team, what did we think of the workshop? Any feedback for us?
I'd like to start by saying that I was impressed by the range of activities. I thought it was very good.
Yes, I agree. The range of activities was good. What's more, all of the activities were fun and interesting.
Yeah, the only problem was that there were lots of activities, but not enough time. There were several activities that I wanted to try, but I didn't get the opportunity. For example, I wasn't able to try the yoga class. I thought that was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to try abseiling.
I hear what you're saying, guys. There's no easy solution, though. We don't want to reduce the number of activities, but there are only so many hours in a day. And we shortened the workshop based on feedback from previous workshops. Any other feedback on the activities?
Well, I guess I learned some valuable skills from the activities. They covered some important areas, so I'm quite pleased about that.
Yeah, me too. Can I say something about the venue?
Of course, Michael.
Well, I thought the venue wasn't up to scratch because it was just too small. It was fine for the talks and things, but there wasn't enough space for some of the other activities.
Yeah, I thought the venue was too small too. And also, I wasn't happy with where the venue's located either. It's not convenient for me at all.
That's because it's too far from any public transport. I don't think it's very convenient for anyone. The MTR station is miles away, and nobody wants to walk for 15 minutes to get here from the closest bus stop.
OK, so that's a couple of valid criticisms. Can we think of something positive now?
Hold on, I have another complaint about the venue.
What's that?
Well, again, it's to do with its location. There are no restaurants nearby. On the first day, I was really hungry because I didn't bring any food with me, and I thought I'd be able to buy lunch. Not the case. I think you should tell people that they need to bring their own food so they don't go hungry.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Thanks for being so honest. I'm really hoping that someone has something good to say now.
Well, I have something positive to say about the staff. I don't think they could have been any friendlier. They also gave a lot of encouragement throughout the workshop. That made a big difference to my experience here.
Yes, the staff were great. I was feeling pretty uncomfortable at the start, but they really put me at ease.
I'm very happy to hear that. Anything to add, Nicola?
Well, I thought the workshop was a very safe environment, and that's really due to the people you have working here. Since I felt safe, I think I was able to get a lot more out of the activities.
OK, anything else to add before I give you guys some feedback on your team's performance? OK, well, I have to say, it's good to hear we're on the right track. Obviously, there are a few venue issues to sort out, but what you said about the activities and our staff means we've done a pretty good job. Now, moving on to you guys, first up, I have to say well done. It's been a tough week, but you've made it through, and I think you've all come a long way and achieved something important. That's not to say that there aren't areas in which you could improve, though.
OK, what could we have done better?
Well, for a team to be successful, you really need to be able to work well with each other, and that wasn't always the case with you guys, was it? There were quite a few disagreements and arguments. If I were to give you any advice in that area, I'd say that communication skills would be the key. You need to work on those so that you're able to listen to each other and communicate clearly without any disagreements.
That sounds like a fair assessment and good advice.
Another thing that's important when it comes to teamwork is that you can't just rely on one person to make all the decisions. I noticed that during a lot of the team activities, you guys seemed to leave it up to Nicola to make all the decisions. Relying solely on her placed a lot of pressure on her and really adversely impacted your performance as a team.
OK, so how could we have done things differently?
Well, in this case, it would have been great if you could have taken turns to take the lead. I think that in some of the activities, if someone else had taken the lead, you could have done even better. That said, Nicola, you're a natural leader. I know that it's hard for some of you to stand up and take charge in a group, but if you're given a job to do or asked to take the lead in making a decision, then I'm sure you'll rise to the challenge. Anyway, that's just some food for thought. Like I said, you all did really well overall, and I think you can be very proud of what you've achieved.
That is the end of Task 4. You now have 2 minutes to complete your answers to Task 4 and to tidy up all your other answers. Part B. Open your data file at page 2. Situation. You are Chloe Fung. You work as an assistant manager at a home for the aged that is run by a charity organisation called Aged Support Network. Your boss, Tony Cheng, has asked you to do some tasks. You will listen to a recording of a radio interview with a doctor who specialises in healthcare for the elderly. Before the recording is played, you will have 5 minutes to study the question-answer book and the data file for Part B1, and the question-answer book and the data file for Part B2. Remember, you must choose to do the tasks in either Part B1 or Part B2. Do not attempt both Parts B1 and B2. Complete the tasks by following the instructions in the question-answer book that you choose and in the recording. You will find all the information you need in the question-answer book and data file that you choose and in the recording. As you listen, you can make notes on page 3 of the data file. You now have 5 minutes to familiarise yourself with the Part B question-answer book and the data file. The recording is about to begin. Turn to page 3 of the data file.
As you know, there has been a lot of attention in the media lately on the issue of elderly care. That's why our guest today is an aged care specialist, Dr. Harry Myers. Welcome to the show, Dr. Myers.
Please call me Harry.
OK, Harry then. Now, quite a few of the complaints that we've been hearing lately are to do with how the elderly are cared for in today's society. Do you have any advice on how elderly care facilities could improve the way they do things?
Oh, definitely. I can't give too much specific advice because each place will be different. But there are certain activities that every home for the aged could consider including as part of their care. These activities are very helpful in ensuring that the elderly are happy and well looked after. For example, something that will always be a good idea is more involvement with charity groups. These charity groups exist because they want to help, so why not make use of their skills and resources? Involving charity groups can ease the burden on rest home employees as well, by letting volunteers take on some of their duties.
Yes, I see how that could be beneficial.
Another thing I would like to recommend is the introduction of more family-focused activities and outings. The elderly really benefit from spending time with their families, so family-focused activities and outings should definitely be on the agenda for any home that wants to improve their services. As an example, a local home for the aged, Middle Park Home, is organising an open day soon, which is a great way to include their residents' families. I've also been invited along, because I know several of the people who work there.
An open day in an old folks' home? I wonder what types of activities they'll have.
Well, I can tell you about some of the things. To begin with, there'll be a guided tour. The home is located in a very interesting old building, so the management are quite keen to show people around. There'll also be a trivia quiz. Residents and their families will compete as teams to win prizes in the trivia quiz. They'll also be having an arts and crafts display, with all the arts and crafts made by residents, of course, and there'll be some special guests.
Special guests?
Yes, I don't know who all of them will be, but I can tell you that one of the guests will be a guy called Martin Leung. He's the head of the charity, Aged Support Network, that runs Middle Park Home.
Well, it's good to hear that the head of Aged Support Network will be attending the open day. What did you say his name was again?
Martin Leung.
Right, yes. So that's some good advice for people who work with the elderly. What about the elderly themselves? Do you have any advice to give to them?
Well, from my experience, one of the biggest concerns of elderly people is the idea of losing their memory. It's an upsetting thought, but most of us will experience it. It's important to note that memory loss is very common as people get older, very common indeed.
Yes, I know a lot of older people who are struggling with memory loss.
It happens to nearly all of us. The good news is that there are some things we can do to keep our memories working well as we get older.
That is good news. So what are your tips for avoiding memory loss?
Firstly, to avoid memory loss, people should do regular physical exercise. This is important as regular exercise boosts the flow of blood to the brain.
I know that regular physical exercise is good for your health in general. I didn't know it was good for your memory too. It boosts the flow of blood to the brain, you say?
That's right, and that helps your brain to keep functioning properly.
I suppose that makes sense.
Another suggestion I often make to elderly people is that they should take part in more social activities. For example, spending time with friends, family, or community groups. As humans, we're social animals, and if we don't engage in regular social activities, our well-being is affected. Everything suffers, not just our memories.
So you advise the elderly to spend time with friends, family members, and community groups?
Yes, that's one of the good things about homes for the aged. They provide a lot of social interaction for older folks.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of that.
Another factor affecting the health of the elderly is diet. As you age, your body isn't as robust, so you need to keep a closer eye on what you eat.
Go on.
One of the best things that you can do is to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet. Plenty of studies show just how harmful sugar is. It's responsible for so many health problems. If we want to look after our elderly better, we absolutely must reduce the amount of sugar in their diet.
So, less sugar.
Definitely. And staying healthy isn't just about cutting out the bad stuff. You need to eat more of the good stuff too, like fresh fish. Everyone, not just the elderly, should eat more fresh fish. I especially recommend salmon because it's high in essential fatty acids. That's especially important as you get older.
Yes, I've been eating more fresh fish lately and I feel much healthier.
I'm not surprised. Leafy green vegetables are also important. It's especially important for the elderly, but we should all be eating more of those too.
By leafy green vegetables, you mean things like spinach?
Yes, spinach, lettuce, choy sum, all those sorts of things.
OK, good advice. I think you've given us all some food for thought there, Harry. Thanks so much for coming in to talk to us.
My pleasure.
It's time for some music now, but I'll be back shortly with another guest, Dorothy Lau, a local painter who has just won some major art awards. Stick around.
That is the end of the listening component of this test. You will have 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete the written tasks in either Part B1 or Part B2. An announcement will be made when time is up.
Time is up. Put down your pens. That is the end of the exam, and the invigilator is going to collect your paper.